Hi, welcome to this episode of Made for More. In this episode, I'm going to be talking to you about how you can make the most of the rest of the year. We all know that 2022 is rushing to an end, and you need to be able to maximize the remaining days that you have in the year 2022. So in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you a few tips here and there that will help you ensure that you end your year on a very, very high note. Would you like to know? Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that I would say is start with Thanksgiving. Yes, you heard me. Start with Thanksgiving. What does Thanksgiving help you to do? Thanksgiving helps you to focus on what has gone right instead of what has gone wrong. All through the year, you might have had highs and lows. Now, it is very natural as human beings to think about what you've not done right, what has not gone the way you wanted it to go. But when you focus on what is wrong, you're going to cloud your mind and you will not even be able to see opportunities that are right before your eyes. So in order to maximize the rest of the year, you need to step back to think about what has happened this year that really was good, that really made me happy, that really went as planned or better than planned. You need to be conscious about remembering those things. Another thing that Thanksgiving does for you is it helps you generate sufficient positive energy that you need to inspire you to go at your goals once again. So when you take time to think about what has God done for me this year, what are the things that I'm grateful for this year, what are things that have happened that I'm really thankful that they happened, it helps you to generate enough positive energy to go at your goals again, to make the remaining days of the year productive. Thanksgiving also opens doors. Okay, Thanksgiving opens doors for more good things to happen to you, and it helps you to acknowledge that there is a higher power that is actually in control of the things that happen to you. It takes off the pressure of trying to perform, trying to handle everything and handle everyone and make everything happen. When you step back to give thanks to God, when you step back to be grateful for the things that have happened for you this year 2022, it helps you to acknowledge that there is a higher power that can make things happen for you and in your favor. So it is very important for you to make Thanksgiving a habit, and as we continue the year 2022, step back and be intentional about being grateful for the good things that have happened to you. A wise ancient poet once said, "It is a good thing to give thanks unto God." Okay, so that's the first tip. Thanksgiving. Now, the second thing that you can do is review your progress so far, right? A lot of times we just live day in, day out, week in, week out. Life is just going by and we don't even know how far we have come. You might have come farther than you actually think, but you wouldn't even know how far you've come if you're not intentional about reviewing your progress so far. So a few questions you can ask yourself are as follows. Number one, what aspect of my goals have I been able to achieve this year? You need to be aware of how far you've come. What have you actually achieved? What are the things that you set your mind to do at the beginning of the year that you've done? You have to review your progress, and in doing this, it will help you to identify what is working, so that you don't keep reinventing the wheel and trying to do new stuff every time. You need to be able to identify what is actually working for me so that you can leverage on that and make it even bigger and better as you continue the year. You also need to ask yourself, what aspect of my goals have I not been able to achieve so far? Asking this question will help you to identify what is not working, so that you can decide whether you need to cut it short or you need to re-strategize. So it's two-sided, right? First of all, identify the goals that you'll be able to achieve. Identify what is working for you, and then identify the aspects of your goals that you've not been able to achieve, and ask yourself why, right? Critically questioning yourself, not being judgmental to yourself, but appraising your performance is very important to help you know what steps you need to take going forward. Now, you will know if you work in a corporate environment that companies do what is called staff appraisal. If you don't step back to appraise yourself, you wouldn't know where you are performing well and where you're not performing well, and you wouldn't know the adjustments that you need to make to achieve better results going forward. So this process of reviewing your progress so far is not about boosting your ego or judging yourself. It's just about taking track of the progress that you've made so far, identifying what is working and identifying what is not working to enable you make progress, more significant progress going forward. So I've mentioned 2 tips that you can employ to ensure that you end your year on a very, very high note. Number 1 is Thanksgiving, and number 2 is reviewing your progress so far. Now, the third thing I'd like to say is you need to decide what is reasonable for you to pursue for the remaining days of the year. As it is, we're in October, so you have about 90 days to end the year 2022. Now, trying to achieve in 90 days what will typically take you 1 year to achieve is putting too much pressure on yourself. Now, is it impossible to achieve a 1-year goal in 90 days? It's not impossible, but it's also not natural. Maybe by some supernatural occurrence, you will be able to achieve that goal. But it is important for you to ensure that your goals are realistic. So you need to ask yourself, what should I focus on for the remaining 90 days of the year 2022? What will be a reasonable goal for me to set for myself for the remaining 90 days of year 2022? Now, it is important, like I said earlier, for you to be realistic in setting these goals. One of the reasons why people think goal setting does not work or get frustrated with themselves or tag themselves as unable to achieve goals is because they set unrealistic deadlines for their goals. So you need to ask yourself, what is realistic considering my capacity and the resources that I have at my disposal? What is realistic for me to focus on achieving for the remaining 90 days of the year 2022? Now, finally, for this episode, the 4th thing you need to ask yourself is, who must I become to be able to achieve these goals? Now, most time we focus on procedures and processes and keys and steps, and as amazing as those things are, if you are not equipped with the right mindset to be able to apply those keys or steps or principles, you most likely fall short of the goal that you set out to achieve. For instance, what habits have been holding me down? What habits have I imbibed that have set a limit to the extent to which I can push? If you do not focus on breaking those habits and imbibing new habits that support your goals, you will struggle and you might not even achieve that goal at the end of the day. So you need to ask yourself, who must I become? What aspect of my capacity must be enlarged for me to be able to achieve my goals? The question of capacity is very important, because if you're trying to solve a level 10 problem or achieve a level 10 goal, but you have a level 5 capacity, it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, for you to achieve that goal. So you need to ask yourself, what habits should I focus on imbibing? What aspects of my character should I focus on changing for it to become easier for me to achieve my goals? Do I need to wake up a little earlier? Do I need to show up at work a little bit earlier than others so that I can clear out certain things before the actual work day starts? Do I need to read 15 minutes every day in my area of expertise so that I can get better, so that I can have more information to be better at my work or at my business? Now, as simple as these things might sound, if you are able to bring yourself to the place of practicing one habit consistently for the next 90 days, I promise you that you will not only be able to achieve your goals, but you will be a totally different person. Now, most times we try to change drastically over a short period of time. But if we only pay attention to an aspect of our character, one habit per time, focus on changing one thing per time, focus on being consistent with one thing per day, the accumulation of all of those days will help you to achieve personal transformation far more than what you thought you could achieve. So I'm going to pause here for today's episode. Next week, I will dive into more specific things that you can do to ensure that you end your year with a bang and on a very, very high note. Thank you for watching today's episode, and do not forget that you are made for more.